First day of the early signing period in the rearview mirror. Prospects still have until Friday in this early signing period if they want to put pen to paper. Sam Spiegelman's covering it all. Is good enough to join us here. Sam, how are you, man?
I'm staying alive, Matt. How about yourself?
I hear you. I know this is the busy season for you, so we appreciate you making time. Give me, if you would, a sense on the first day of the early signing period. I guess you're into day 2 for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I think so far so good. I mean, Lane Kiffin is putting his stamp on LSU. He's been able to keep the majority of the main pieces in the state of Louisiana signed already. We know that Big Rich Anderson's signature came in today, and we are expecting that, by tomorrow, the end of this early signing period, the number one player in the country, Lamar Brown, from the foot of LSU's campus at U-High, will probably follow suit. So along with signing guys like Isaiah Washington and Jabari Mack, and a couple of other great pieces inside the state, LSU's class is pretty much intact for a coaching transition where there's going to be a lot of new faces in and around that building, which it's hard to always maintain a class when there's not a lot of continuity, but so far so good. And I think that we already have gotten some reviews from not only Kiffin, but Billy Glasscock, the new general manager in Baton Rouge, that they are going to hit the transfer portal hard because they expect to compete next season.
Let's, if we could, Sam, talk about the other guys that are still unsigned and what you might be able to tell us right now. We mentioned Lamar Brown there just a second ago, but he's not the only one that's still unsigned. Yet Henderson and Deuce Gerald is still unsigned as well. I feel like I'm forgetting one more that's still unsigned. But what do you know about the guys that haven't yet put pen to paper that are committed to LSU's class?
Yeah, let's start with Lamar Brown. Obviously, he's the number one player in the state, number one player in the country, and the centerpiece of this class for 2026. The expectation is that he is going to sign as early as this week. His agent has left things open. They would like to see how the rest of the staff shakes out. But as of another meeting on Thursday, this is trending in the right direction for LSU to get Lamar Brown on board, which would be an incredibly massive step forward for Lane Kiffin and his staff as they head into the portal season. Deuce Gerald, of course, has been very connected to Frank Wilson. Frank coached his father, Davron Gerald, at Ole Miss. His father played for Scotlandville High School. Deuce was born in Baton Rouge and was infatuated with the idea of getting coached by someone who coached his dad. Since Frank Wilson's job remains up in the air, Deuce Gerald has been exploring his other options. That includes Ole Miss, where, again, his father played, as well as Georgia Tech has come on very strong with Deuce Gerald. Brent Key looks like he's staying in Atlanta. He has been recruiting that state and given Georgia some run for a lot of prospects across the Peach State over the last couple of years with some big wins. And they're making a very lucrative pitch to Deuce Gerald, who is the Georgia all-time sack leader, to stay home and play close to home. And much like we've alluded to with any coaching transition, while the in-state kids largely want to play for LSU and we're on track to, it's a different story with out-of-state kids. And, Trenton Henderson out of the Pensacola area, before LSU started to surge in that recruitment, Florida State, and Miami were all very much involved. So was Auburn, and a lot of those universities have new head coaches that are familiar with Mr. Henderson, and they're not going down swinging, especially with some uncertainty on who's going to be on this defensive staff. Trenton Henderson has had his ear to some more local schools in Florida and across the Southeast.
We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to welcome Our Lady of the Lake to AFR LSU. As the championship health partner of LSU athletics, the physicians at Our Lady of the Lake serve the champions on the field in the purple and gold, but that same level of care is available to you and your family. I've been a proud supporter of Our Lady of the Lake my entire life, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom as a high schooler to helping so many of the fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital, to my own son being a patient now at that very Children's Hospital, and my primary care physician, Dr. Kurt Chastain, at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Our Lady of the Lake has been a part of my medical journey my entire life, and you can learn more as well. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. The other one was Bryson Cooley that I omitted. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, this is getting interesting. Bryson Cooley, obviously, it was pretty significant when he committed from the state of Mississippi, when he was coveted by Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and still committed to Brad Davis and the Tigers. Of course, we don't know what Brad Davis's future holds, but we know that LSU is still swinging here. Ole Miss is now swinging again, but Alabama has kind of emerged as a favorite for Bryson Cooley down the stretch. For a time, it looked like Jeff Lebby and the Bulldogs were going to get it done. Now it looks like Kalen DeBoer and the Tide are trending at the right time. This is trending away from LSU right now.
Sam Spiegelman is our guest. Let me ask about Landon Duckworth as well. What you could tell us about that, Sam? It seemed as though on Wednesday that he was going to pick LSU. Now today he sticks with his commit at South Carolina. What happened there?
Yeah, Landon Duckworth has had a very roller coaster of a recruitment. You have to remember he was committed to South Carolina as an underclassman, and for long stretches of his recruitment, one of the best quarterbacks in this 2026 class had UCF as one of his leaders. It's been all over the place. LSU had made an in-season run at Landon Duckworth. They got into this recruitment very late, but made noise pretty quickly, got him on campus, couldn't get him to come back for an official visit. We know that at one point in his recruitment, Ole Miss was the prohibitive favorite for Landon Duckworth. Obviously, Charlie Weiss, Lane Kiffin, and guys that were in the LSU building like Kelvin Bolden were all huge parts of that recruitment. So there's a lot of momentum favoring LSU with a kid who lives just outside of Mobile, Alabama, where LSU has recruited very hard over the last 10-plus years, and before that even as well. South Carolina has always been infatuated with this kid. Shane Beamer has taken a huge role in recruiting this young man. And like I said, he was previously committed to South Carolina. So Shane Beamer has been in this kid's life for 3+ years at this point. I think he feels comfortable going to South Carolina instead of going to LSU, where he never took that OV and really has one game day experience under his belt.
Couple more for you, Sam. We appreciate the time. Sam Spiegelman is with us. Chris Henry didn't sign with Ohio State. I know there's flip predictions to Oregon I saw today. Hearing maybe some scuttle that LSU might get in the mix there. What can you tell us is the latest there for Chris Henry?
Well, Matt, when Lane Kiffin got to LSU, I think we all know that part of the motivation was that he was going to have a large sum of NIL money to compete with some of these other blue bloods around the country for some of these prospects like Chris Henry, who is by most websites the number one receiver in the country. Of course, his dad is from Bell Chase and played in the NFL. LSU has had his interest for various stretches of his recruitment. He was an early commitment to Brian Hartline and Ohio State, has never wavered from that, but has continued to explore his options. I think he's been to LSU one time in the past 2 or so years, but there's been confidence in Eugene, not just this week, but for a couple of weeks building up. We know that Oregon has made a very competitive NIL pitch, and now that he played his senior season over at Mater Dei, Eugene becomes a somewhat localer option for him on the West Coast. We know that USC has been exploring here. We know that Texas has his attention very late as they're looking to add another 5-star to their class. I wouldn't say that LSU is not in this race or out of this race. I just think they have some pretty stiff competition, but it will tell you a lot about what funds LSU is able to work with their NIL, depending on how serious they can get into this race late.
And to Sam's point, you mentioned Brian Hartline, who obviously left or is leaving Ohio State to go be the head coach now at USF. So that being a key part of his recruitment there, is coach is no longer at Ohio State. So we'll see how that all plays out. Hey, one more for you, Sam. Your time very much appreciated. SEC storylines. What else in the first 36 hours or so here of the early signing period popped for you?
I know it's local, but it has been one of the biggest stories. Is Richard Anderson and Lamar Brown went from being very excited about the Lane Kiffin hire to then a point where they were not going to sign this week. Maybe it's because it's a little bit more local. Maybe it's because it's been one of the most popular stories on our website for the last couple of days. But the amount of progress that Lane Kiffin and Billy Glasscock have made with not only these commits and their high school coaches and their parents and their agents, we have heard some really remarkable reviews of not just Lane Kiffin, but Billy Glasscock, who is someone who I'm not too familiar with. I know that he was with Lane in Oxford. I know he has experience in Austin working at Texas. But a lot of the reviews I've gotten from high school coaches, from parents, from kids, is that this is a very impressive man who has a real vision for assembling rosters. So certainly the evidence speaks for itself with Big Rich Anderson, the #1 defensive lineman on the board. This has been shaping well for LSU this whole time. If they're able to get Lamar Brown in the bag by the end of the week, I think that speaks volumes about the direction of where this LSU football operation is going, because they're going to be on track to sign the most important recruits inside the state, and they're going to have their amenities to make a run in the transfer portal to fill key needs like quarterback and offensive line, you name it. There's a lot of holes, but signing this class and then hitting the portal with that ammunition bodes very well for the future of this program.
He is Sam Spiegelman. Get him on Twitter at Sam Spiegs, national recruiting analyst there for Rivals. And man, it's a busy time, so thanks for carving out a few minutes for us. We always appreciate it.
Yep, thanks for having me, Matt.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.